Duck titties. Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and I decided I'm going to do this on my phone because I did it the other day. I had this 16-minute video. Everything was going great until I watched it back and the file froze. It was a corrupt file again. So I've been having some trouble with this damn webcam. A lot of it's fine, but every once in a while I'll go to do it and I have to fucking do it 2 or 3 times. But we're not here to talk about that. But I do want to talk about one thing before we get started with the review, and that is I want to welcome Nick Pachia to the patron card. That's right, he signed up for the patron thingy, and here's the patron card. And if you want to sign up for the patron, there's like these tiers, and eventually I'm going to start doing the things that I promised because, you know, I figure what the hell. So if you want to be a patron, you can request rants, reviews, I'll say hi to you, something about cyber hugs, whatever the fuck that is. I don't know what that is, so just imagine me mentally giving you hugs on occasion. And I'll remember to do that. Every time I put the card on a thing, I'm mentally hugging you people. But anyway, let's move along, okay? So the other day, one of my favorite YouTubers, one of the biggest YouTubers of all time, Sean Chandler, was ranking his 10 worst superhero movies. And then he got to his number 1 superhero movie. It was the worst. It was the worst number 1 superhero movie. And it was Howard the Duck from 1986. And I was like, whoa! Wait a minute. First of all, this is not a superhero movie. Sure, it is based on a Marvel Comics property, but Howard the Duck is not a superhero. Not that I would know. I haven't actually read a Howard the Duck comic book. But from judging from the movie, he's just a duck that was minding his own business, sitting in his living room, about to look, he was going to quack off, looking at his play duck. Because, yeah, I want to bring up the fact that this movie is rated PG, okay? It's rated PG. You got this duck, and he's about to quack it, looking at a Play Duck magazine, and they show full-on side boob and just a little bit of nip, and you're like, oh my god, this is a fucking kid's movie. But then the tractor beam comes, and it lifts him up and pulls him, through the apartment complex, and he goes past these old people, then he goes through this bathroom, and there's this duck just la-di-da-di-da. Look at my duck titties. Like, what? What the fuck? I mean, granted it was 1986, and they hadn't came out with the PG-13 rating probably. I don't know. When the fuck did Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom come out? I don't know. But whenever the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom came out, that's when they started the PG-13 because of the Kaliman. But, we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about Howard the Duck and duck nipples. Like, I was slightly traumatized as a child. But then again, I didn't know. I probably didn't know. But you would think that it would traumatize. If I had known, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? But hey, I love it. I love it now that I'm, it's funny. But like the fact that this is a PG movie that's inappropriate for children and adults. Because nobody really needs to be seeing duck titties. But the fact that they exist makes me giggle. So, I gotta give the movie bonus points because they went there. They were like, fuck it. Have a duck fucking taking a bath and have her have realistic looking fucking nipples. So yeah. First of all, Howard the Duck's not a superhero. He's a mild-mannered duck that was minding his own business. Gets sucked out of his apartment, thrown into Cleveland, Ohio. He's out on the streets. He doesn't know where he is. He's got no money. And he runs into trouble here and there, starting out. But then that's when he's hiding in a garbage can and he meets Beverly, played by, what's her name? Leah Thompson, that you might remember from Back to the Future, played Marty McFly's mom. And if you thought Marty McFly's mom was hot, Jesus Christ. Because honestly, I didn't think Leah Thompson was that, oh wow, and Back to the Future. But in this movie, oh my God, there's just something about her. I don't know if it's the hair or it's, I know what it is. We'll talk about it in a second. But yeah, she's just so goddamn cute in this movie. And I couldn't see anybody else playing this role.
He's the most exciting individual I've ever met. He isn't into the whole macho thing, but he knows who he is and what he wants. Everyone thinks of him as a hero now. But I share his feelings, and he's touched my soul. And right now, I would give anything to run my fingers through his feathers.
A lot like everybody else in this movie, because I kind of knew before Sean Chandler said that this was his worst superhero movie, even though, granted, it's not a superhero movie. I looked, and I knew that this movie wasn't as beloved by the masses as it is by me, which is Preposterous. Look at this. 4.6? Are you fucking kidding me? How does this have... But see, that's the thing. It has a 4.6, but when you actually look at the user reviews, here I'll have just the highlights. And since I'm using my phone, I can do the thing where I record my screen and I scroll. Are you looking at it? These people fucking love this goddamn movie. I'm sure there's probably like an asshole in here. Here, let's see. Is there an asshole in here somewhere? I don't know. I can't see what I'm looking at. But the point is, the performances in this movie are really good. And it's fucking directed really good. It's directed by a guy named Willard. Who fucking cares? But George Lucas had called this guy and said, hey, I was reading this Marvel comic book about this duck from another world where everybody's duck people. And I was thinking, when he comes to Earth, and I was thinking, let's make a movie about that. So that's what they did. They made a movie about this. And the thing is, you can tell they had a lot of fun while making this movie, and that they put a lot of heart and effort into it, because the special effects in this movie are also amazing. But we'll talk about those when we get to them, because we start out, it's just him. He's trying to find a place to go. Beverly takes him in. He stays at her apartment. It is so cute and adorable. He falls asleep in her windowsill. But then the next day, he's being a dick. And I've heard a lot of people talk about, I didn't like it because he's just a dick the whole movie. Well, of course he's gonna be a fucking dick. He was sitting in his fucking living room about to crack it, and he got sucked into a tractor beam and thrown into another world that he's not familiar with, that he wasn't prepared for. Like, he's got no food, he's got no money, he's got no job. I'm sure if he had pets, their heads would be falling off. I mean, he's fucked. He's literally fucked. Would you be walking around like, oh, hell yeah, this is fun. This is fun being fucking stranded where I don't know where I am. I mean, you get it? So that's why he's being a fucking dickhead. He has every right to be a dickhead in this movie, even though he doesn't really have a right to be a dickhead to Beverly, because all she's doing is trying to help him, and that's when they have a fight, and he says, I don't need anybody, I don't need you, and, he goes off, and then he finds out that, yeah, he needs somebody, because he can't make it just living on the street. He gets a job. Speaking of this being a PG movie, he gets a job mopping up sperm and like a sex spa thing. I don't know. There's a bunch of people fucking fondling each other and just blatantly dry humping out in the hallway area. Like, they're not even behind closed doors. But this is a PG movie. This is for the family. This is for the family. Maybe that's why a lot of people didn't like it. Like, maybe they did like it, but they were like so outraged by the fact that they just showed this movie to their kids and it was completely inappropriate. Oh, wait a minute. No, because that was 1986. We weren't a bunch of fucking little bitches back then. Anyway, not that you're a little bitch if you don't like this movie, but not that you're not a little bit. It's just I'm sorry. I get a little frustrated sometimes, you know, when I find out that things that I love are being crapped on by a bunch of strangers on the internet that I don't know. I can't handle it. But anyway, then we get to where he fucking decides he's gonna go and he's gonna find Beverly and he's gonna apologize and ask her for help because he needs to find out where the fuck how the fuck he got here. And he goes to the club where she's playing and he catches her manager being a sleazeball, talking about holding out on the band, gonna keep the money, all this stuff. So there's a big scene where he takes on the manager and stuff and tells him he's got duck rabies. And he gets the money and says, "Hey, you're not the fucking manager anymore. I'm the fucking manager," or something like that. But he tells Beverly what happens, and she takes him back to the apartment, and it leads to like my favorite scene in the movie, even though it's totally fucked up and inappropriate. But you know how I was talking about Leah Thompson is hot as shit in this movie. Like, this is the ugliest shade. Hopefully I can find the picture and or image. The ugliest shade of pink I've ever seen. But damn, she's wearing these underwears and nightie or whatever you would call this ensemble that she is wearing. I mean, this is probably one of the most paused moments in movie history, even though everybody supposedly hates this movie. But you can't deny this frame right here. You cannot deny it. But then, you know, I feel like they would have had like this is a PG movie that almost had some bestiality shit happen, but luckily they were interrupted by these scientists because Tim Robbins is in this movie and he plays this crazy scientist guy, and you know it's one of his first roles, but he wants to find out how Howard came to be. And they have this big fancy laboratory where there's this big laser, and apparently they were doing some kind of test, and it happened to hit Howard at that time and drew him to the energy source. Well, while they were trying to figure out how to send Howard home, they turned it on, something else came down and hit this other scientist that's the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And then that's when we lead in to some of the greatest special effects from the 80s, like the transformation that the doctor goes through. And I love, or the doctor, the scientist, whatever you want to call him. I can't remember his name. I probably wrote it down. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, see, I wrote these notes the other day when I did my first one, and I didn't even have to use them this time because I made it all the way this, but I forgot to write his name down, so who gives a shit, right? This motherfucker goes through this transformation, and they're like calling him that. He's like, "I am no longer Dr. whatever. I am something else now." And like just his performance, I buy it. I like it a lot. And especially how it gradually changes him from just being like sweaty and to like scary as fuck, honestly. Because this movie goes from being, you know, a lighthearted, yet fucking slightly disturbing sci-fi comedy to a full-blown sci-fi horror movie by its third act. The diner scene is one of my favorite scenes in a movie ever. Just the back and forth and the waitress, it's excellent. They bring Howard some eggs over easy and he has a panic attack and it's great. And then all the people in the diner start attacking Howard because they, you know, think he's a freak and they're going to cut his head off. And then that's when the doctor goes into full-blown badassery, I'm going to end the world type shit mode. And then there's the whole fucking chase with Howard on the fucking plane going back to the fucking laboratory and the doctor in the semi and he's pushing all these cars and stuff. Oh my God, like the third act of this movie is absolutely wonderful. And to think that there's people out there that do not appreciate this movie for what it is trying to be. This is something different. This is something that, like, this movie was ahead of its time. Because I guarantee you, if they go to make Howard the Duck nowadays, I'm sorry, it's not going to be as good as this Howard the Duck. Because sure, everybody got excited. I saw the Howard the Duck, even though you people didn't know who the fuck Howard the Duck is. Nobody knows who the fuck Howard the Duck is unless you read the comics or watch the fucking movie as a kid. And I know half of you motherfuckers ain't never read the goddamn comics, but I know some of you, I hope, have seen the fucking movie. Okay? Because at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, when they cameoed Howard the Duck, I thought, that does not look like Howard the Duck. That's not my Howard the Duck, even though he supposedly looked like he did in the comics, but there's comics where he looks like he did from this 1986 movie, so I can't necessarily say. But goddammit, the special effects that went into making Howard in this movie, like, it was a guy wearing a suit, and then somebody, basically the same technique they used to make the Ninja Turtles. There was different people controlling his face and stuff like that, but it's spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And the fact that people don't like this movie, and like, no offense, but we're going to go ahead and rate this movie. And I just can't stress enough the no offense thing. But I'm going to rate this movie. If you don't like this movie, go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
That's all that's all I can come up with. Because it pisses me off when I find out that people don't like this movie. Because this movie is practically half my childhood. I never necessarily owned this movie until I bought it on DVD, but god damn it, I can't tell you how many times I rented this son of a bitch from the movie store. Me and Cody Archer were just talking about all the fun times we had renting videos from the video store. I might make a fucking video about the fucking video store. Anyway, do you love Howard the Duck as much as I do? Do you get as excited when you find out that people are bad-mouthing one of your favorite fucking childhood movies? Does it make you want to punch somebody in the mouth? Well, let me know in the comments section down below. And if you've liked what you've seen, make sure you click the like button. And goddammit, something about there's a subscribe button. And whoa! I forgot! I am going to eventually make this social media card. I haven't made it yet. I'm not worried about it this time. But I did want to bring up the fact that I started a spread store. Or spreadshirt store. Is it here? Is it showing up? That's the fucking name of the link. There's only one style of shirt. I think it's right there. What the fuck was I talking about? It comes edited and unedited. So if you don't want to walk around with fuck on your shirt, you can get the unedited version. And if you don't give a shit, you can get this uncensored, whatever. But there's one design so far. So hopefully a couple of you will do me the honor of buying one of my shirts just to support the channel. Because I make like $3 a shirt or something like that. So if I buy my own shirt, I'll technically save $3. But anyway, you can get baseball tees and all kinds of shit. You can get baby onesies and jumpers and mugs and all that stuff because it's Spreadshirt. They got all kinds of fancy stuff. So check it out. I gotta go. It's past my bedtime. Oh, that's a shirt design we're going to be working on. Anyway, I've been Drewski. Make sure you have a lovely evening.